Okay, the concept of globalism and how this has impacted the contemporary Muslim understanding of the Ummah. The paper with this paper begins with the examination of the concept of globalization and modernization before exploring the concept of Ummah and globalization impact on Muslims' understanding of Ummah. The paper investigates theological meaning of Ummah by using Quranic research methodology and examines Muslims' understanding of the Ummah in the globalized world. It finds that even though the theology, theology, theological meaning of Ummah stands for the whole of mankind, it becomes an exclusive concept in the area of globalization, and it creates confusion. Oh, that's good. Nothing about confusion in Islam. That was good. Let's hope we get some contrary things. Ummah in general refers to Muslims' global community ability to argue that theocratically Ummah is not an exclusive concept, rather, it includes the whole of mankind. The concept has delivered for the Quran and was implemented practically by Muhammad for the first time through existing the first Muslim state in the 7th century. For Islamic scholars, the Muslim word constitutes an ummah, a universal community based on a shared faith and the implementations of the law, Hassan 206. However, the university community of ummah is now obstructed by an influx, an exodus of different countries. The concept of globalization, the concept of globalization is explained in the name. In my opinion, globalization has a center discourse of global, which compromises mainly economic, social, and cultural and political. In the in this discourse of global people from different countries with different cultural backgrounds are correct with each other economically, socially, and politically, where they for a stand homogeneous culture and thus have some symbolism, some become globalized, and in globalization and restrictions of national boundaries are tuned. The guide states globalization is about the intensification of worldwide social reactions which link distant locations, loyalties in such a way that local handing, reshaping by event occurring name miles. Anyway, I don't think this is actually telling us globalization and modernization. I can see this being a trouble. I think it's difficult with this one. What is the great blah blah Islam and globalization? Thank you for your question. Attitude of Islam towards globalization can't be apprehended unless I can first define the term globalization in the light of the way globalization is supposed to be, the way it really is globalization as it's supposed to be in the aspect of life that has always been since the beginning of humanity, blah blah blah. The first process that exploits nature and resources while based on giving when it comes to the market expansion and consumerist lifestyles without offering direct anything. The Holy Quran full. Oh, here we go. The Quran says, Surah 34, verses 28, and we have not sent, O Muhammad, save as a bringer of good tide and a warner unto all mankind, but most of mankind not know. Also in Surah 21 and verse 11, we have not sent you because as a mercy to the worlds. In addition, Surah 25 verse 1, please he is he who sent down the citation to his servant that it may be admonished to all creatures. At the same time, the Prophet was ordered to convey the message to whoever wants to embrace it and never to force anyone to believe it. The Quran says in Surah 10, verse 99, and in the Lord had pleased surely all those who are on earth and believe. This has got nothing to do with what I'm actually looking for. Yeah. Mm. Allah commands, judge though between them by what Allah hath revealed, and follow not by their desires, but be aware, and they are turned away by be assured that for some of their crimes it is Allah purpose to punish them, and truly most men are rebellious. 50 do them seek after judgment of the day of ignorance. But what's this got to do with? I'm going to say on the back of this one's quite tricky. This is why I wanted to start at the end. Economic globalization is inevitable, and from Islamic, they want the whole world to be a caliphate. So, if private, if primary, if should primary serve humanity rather than the interests of trans communities? I would slightly disagree. I slightly agree with that. So, an economic is inevitable, right? I agree. Should through the Muslims primary serve humanity rather than the transnational corporations? Yeah, I really disagree with that. Just now, from the actions of what I've seen, and I can't see anything in the text for that. It's either I agree or disagree. Okay, let's go with agree. No, let's go with disagree. Let's keep it to the thing. I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong. So I would suggest that we change country to Islam, and that is definitely in the Hadith. Always supporting Islam. In fact, I strongly agree with that. Not every Muslim strongly agrees, but it definitely says in the Quran to fight on behalf of Islam. No one chooses his or her country at birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. Yeah, I don't think Islam really sees countries as they want the whole world to be a caliphate. So no one chooses a country. So I strongly agree with that. I don't see boundaries or our race has many superior qualities compared to other races. So meant to be love and peace and love, but I don't think it necessarily goes like that. When the reality hits the fan, I think they internally have their own gripes about types of people who like and they don't. So our races may have superior qualities compared to other races, and some of them are quite supremacist as well. My enemy is my friend, and I disagree with that. I think they're clever enough to get that there. It's usually their enemy is their enemy, and they go after that. But in fact, I strongly disagree because they seem to be wanting to go after everybody. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Well, on the case of Islam, I would strongly agree because they're chopping off people's heads and doing all sorts of atrocities, burning people, cutting off the penises, and targeting civilians. There is now a worrying fashion of information, a fusion between entertainment and there is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Yes, which they broadly dislike naked women being the entertainment, although sometimes, and they usually strongly agree. Yeah, confusion. This thanks to all that Western propaganda. So I would say there is now a worrying fusion. I would say yes, strongly agree, especially if you're jihadi. It's haram. They are ultimately divided more by class. People are utterly divided more by class than nationality. Well, as we're not talking about nationality, we're talking about Islam here. I would suggest that that's strongly disagree. It's mainly the not the nationality but the religion. So people are divided more by class than religion or Islam in there. So I would say it's strongly dividing people. Right, see this. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Now I know that rates are you're not allowed to charge vigorous, and there's other ways of getting mortgages and things like that. Whether or not there is a direct requirement for full employment within the Quran, I don't actually know that. I'm not sure about that one. I don't think there is. I don't think inflation or uh, unemployment is covered in the Quran. I'm just going to Google check this. Choose the square silence when you're studying. Unemployment in the Quran. Let's see if we get someone there. 3 rules to beat unemployment. Dealing with depression, loneliness. 9 ways to cope with job loss Islamically. Oh, aye. Facing a tidal wave of unemployment about Islam. Let's see if one of these are. 9 ways to cope with job loss. Remember who is the real provider for everything you have. It's easy to get caught up in the fear of how will I provide for my family, while there's a number or programs and unemployment benefits that can be help you, blah blah blah. It would be helpful when we make dua to use the name of Allah, receiving the practice of daily dua in bruisier times. Squeeze dua into your daily life may have been difficult, but now more time available. So that's quite difficult. Controlling inflation. I think there is a special way of doing banking which limits interest. I think that would limit inflation as well, if I can remember correctly. So there's no interest, but there could still be inflation. There's still other aspects of causing inflation. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. I don't think there's anything tyrannic about that. So I would agree. If anybody thinks I should strongly disagree, put your comments in the actual comment section. If we've got any of these wrong, purely from a Quranic base or the Hadith. Becoming corporations can't be trusted to volunteer protect the environment. They require regulation. Does Islam prescribe legislation? Does Islam prescribe legislation to the environment? Because corporations can't be trusted to volunteer protect the environment, they require legislation. There is a system of governance in the Quran. So they could potentially bring forward, if they're feeling charitable, legislation. Again, I'm not sure if it said anything about. I know it says things about the environment, but I don't know if it. I'm going to say agree. I think there are things about the environment, bits and bobs about it, but I don't know if it goes into that sort of detail because corporations can't be trusted to volunteer or protect the environment. They require legal protection from the Quranic versions. I'm going to say agree, but I don't know how much in the Quran the verses are said like that. But I'm going to give the nice version. For each according to their ability, to each according to their need, is a fundamentally good idea. Each according to his ability, each according to his need. Well, we disagree. I'm going to strongly disagree that Muslims have to give a percentage of their money away to people who are less fortunate. Okay. The freer the market, the freer the people. Well, not if you've got a totalitarian regime based on the Quran about you. So, freer markets are usually freer people, but you're not got a free market or free people if you've got a totalitarian government, have you? Based on the Quran. It's sad reflection of our society that some people as basic as drinking water is now a bottle rather than a consumer product. Well, I think it's pretty beneficial in the Middle East to actually be able to hold a bottle, unless you're going from oasis to oasis. It's probably helped the nomads' lives out no end. All that camel moving across the desert. So it's a sad reflection of society, something I would say that we strongly disagree. Again, not much to do with Allah. with his plastic cups. I'm sure it was good for him to find water. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. Quranic verses on buying land. Ruling on buying and selling land. Buy land somewhere it's permissible because it's included in the meaning of the verse. Investing in land. Thank you very much for talking. Buying and selling land is permissible because it is included in the meaning of the verse in which Allah says interpretation of the meaning. Allah has permitted trading in Bakri 2275 applies whether it is for investing and profit or in order to make use of it and benefit from it. But trading is subject to certain conditions in order to be valid included. The land in question should be clearly known, as should be the price. Blah blah blah. So I'm going to say strongly disagree. It is regrettable that many people futures are are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to the society. Oh, what's Alice saying about the money changers? Chronic Rams on US stock China. Online Quranic teacher available. Oh, here we go. Quran, the Prophet, on Money Matters. The Quran and the Prophet and Money Matters. On interest, Allah was deprived, will deprive usury of all blessing, but will give increased for deed of charity. Narrated Jarbi al-Bin Abdullah, Allah's messenger, cursed the acceptor of the interest and its payer, and one whom recorded it, and two witnesses, and said that they were all equal Muslims. Abu Hurairah related that the Prophet said, on the night of the Murja, I came upon a group of people whose beliefs were like hotels. They were all full of snakes, which could be seen from outside their bellies. I asked Gabriel who they were, and he told me that they were people who practice riba interest. Ahmed 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 Al bin Majah, Abdullah and bin Abdul Hanjula related that the Prophet said, a dirham of riba interest knowingly taken by a man is a sin worse than committing zina, fornication 36 times. Amen. Right, whatever. So it is regrettable that many personal fortunes may be made who manipulate money markets. So we're strongly disagreeing on that one. Protectionism is necessary for trade. Well, I don't know if it's necessary for trade, but it's certainly necessary for taxation. Yeah, I think they do strongly protect their own interests when it suits them. The only social. Did that say in the Quran? No, see, I did that wrong there. Should have said the Quran. Islamic Sharif protection and legislation of trade. Trade is one of the most important and oldest transactions in history. Countries cannot trade, blah, 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 blah. The paper lens focus on comparison of trade under Arabic legislation and compared to the Western-based economies. A large witness of companies take use of their concept of and for commercial purposes. Islamic religion defines Sharia law that covers the financial transaction. The law prohibits the acceptance of a specific interest and fee and on many lending, and the application or riba. Note that any excess monetary consideration should be done with due consideration. The study here thus tries to complete the different factors affecting the development of the procurement by businesses that follow those Islamic laws of banking and trade. Clear as mud. Self-protection is something necessary. They do agree up to a point. I won't strongly agree that. The only social responsibility of a company should be the delivery of profit. I think they agree with that. I could even strongly agree. Let's go with agree. In fact, let's go with strongly agree. Rich are too highly taxed. I don't think they believe in tax. I'm going to strongly disagree. I'm going to disagree, not strongly disagree. Having been a few, they're not really keen on their taxes. Those with an ability to pay. In fact, I'm going to strongly disagree that they don't pay very many taxes. There are some countries that pay, Muslim countries that pay tax, but as a whole, those with ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Well, it was all pretty private where I was. I think it's private insurance. So, and I don't think there's anything in the Quran about paying for healthcare. These with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of care. Well, they usually do anyway, but should they? Is this a moral issue in the Quran? Is there a moral issue in the Quran that says that people who are not as well off as you should not be getting better care? I don't know that one. I don't know. That would be interesting with somebody who is more theocratically scholared. So I'm going to say uh, those that have the ability to pay should have access to higher. I'm going to disagree with that because I think some Muslims do actually pay for other people's stuff, and some of them are quite nice if they've got a bit of dough. Government should penalise businesses that mislead the public. Well, I don't think they do. Governments should penalise businesses that mislead the public. Well, I think they should do that, but do they actually do it? I don't think so. Having gone through the situation I've gone through, a genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predatory multinationals to create monopolies. A free market requires restrictions on the ability of a predatory multinationals to create monopolies. Yeah, I would me strongly agree. Um, hmm. There is no direct verb in the Al-Quran forbidding monopoly. However, in the Hadith, Prophet Muhammad mentions that a lot of their martech monopolies are sinner. The reason of such direction is clear. It is therefore evident that the monopoly is bad for the view of conventional and Islamic schools. So a genuine free market requires restrictions on monopolies. So I'm going to say he's strongly disagreeing. Monopolies are banned. Abortion, when the woman's life's not a threat, should be illegal. On. I'm trying to get this as correct as possible. Muslims' view on abortion are shaped by the Hadith as well as by the opinions of the legal blah blah blah. Muslims' view on abortion are shaped by the Hadith as well as by the opinions of legal and religious scholars and commentators. The Quran does not directly address intentionally abortions, leaving gender discretions to the law of the individual countries. In Islam, the fetus is believed to become a living soul after 120 days gestation, and an abortion after that is viewed as impersonable. Many Islamic thinkers recognize expectations to the rule of certain circumstances. American academic Yazid blah 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 noted that the majority of Muslim scholars permit abortions, although they offer different on the stage or fetal development beyond which it is becomes prohibited. Accordingly, Shauna Jackson, while abortion even turned the first trimester is forbidden according to the majority of jurists, it is not helped by to be an offence for which these are criminals or even criminal sanctions. So the answer is potentially, is abortion legal? They do agree up to a point. All authorities should be questioned. All authorities strongly disagree. Not the Quran. He is the ultimate authority. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And I think they do behead people. So I think it is an eye for an eye. Yes, the Quran does say this, and that we are ordained for them. Therefore, a life for a life, an eye for an eye, a nose for a nose, an ear for an ear, a tooth for a tooth, and the wound is legal retribution by whoever gives up his ear. Charity, it is not an explanation for him. Does any eye for eye appear in the Quran? Quranic Arabic corpus transaction. So we're going to say yes, strongly yes, and also they definitely kill people as well. So especially in Saudi, for the different beliefs, including homosexuality, you kill an atheist. So taxpayers should be expected to prop up theatres or museums that could not survive on the basis of commercial decisions. I know it paid for like things like Alexander, but I also want to rip things down. Museums and taxpayers should be expected to prop up theatres and museums. Cran on theatres and museums. The Islamic Art of Disgraced Centre, C1, Quran, seen them all, Turkish art, blah blah blah. what's in the Quran on theatres. The art of the Quran, a real rare peek into Islam's holy text. The art of the Quran, treasures from the Museum of Turkish and Islamic Art. Here's manuscript should be first time out on loan. Interesting. So taxpayers shouldn't not be expected to prop up theatres or museums that could not survive. I would say well, I think in the Quran, and we're reading this like the Quran, not individual Muslims or people who are Muslims who probably would do this. In the Quran, I think it says they used to destroy when the ISIS, who are the first reflections of idolatry, and they're up for destroying it. So I would say no. From a text-based, schools should not be made classroom attendance compulsory. Strongly disagree. That's how they teach the Quran. All people have the rights, but it's better for all of us that some sorts of people should be kept their own kind. All people have their rights, but it's better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep their own rights. Well, they strongly agree. They believe in it's the Quran and screw everybody else's rights. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Do you agree with that? It's nature for children to certainly hit your wife. I'm not sure about spanking children, but I don't see any difference. The nature of it's natural for children to keep secrets from their parents, like they're having sex with their uncle. I agree. I would probably strongly agree. I'm not sure what Mohammed said. Yeah. What is mentioned in the Quran and the Hadith about revealing secrets to someone that was told in confidence? praised to be Allah's secrets are a kind of trust, and thus they are a kind of contract and covenant which must be kept if it is necessary to not to breach these. Don't know if that's for children's, right? Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm just trying to get into this. A wee bit tricky. Shows Surah Al-An'am 6151, the Noble Quran, and to show in fairest companionship to you, your parents, and do not kill your children out of want, whether open or secret. Take not life which Allah hath made sacred, except when you get secrets. The role of children is frightening parents. Islam a helpline. Islam lay great stress on the obedience and respect of parents. In fact, after Al Shabahana, it, it's our parents who we owe a lot to, and what make time. Blah blah blah. The religion of Islam gives much more importance to upbringing and grooming of children. Bet it does, because children of today will form a society tomorrow. And imperfection in upbringing and grooming of children will have adverse effects on the society and in future. And it's most essential that children must be brought up upon the most perfect mode to have a better and positive society. Islam guides us very explicitly on the directives to be followed to have a better and positive society. The Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet give us necessary guidelines regarding upbringing, grooming, blah blah blah. Used to teach these children in time politely how to behave well. The Arab literature is also full of advice of moral events and incidents and lessons to learn by children while their behavior building is going on. Islam intends to build up personalities and characters of children in such a way that he or she becomes an integral part of society and it's notable and civilized individual. The research shows that they highlight the most important social issues in Islamic, pointing upbringing and grooming of children, upbringing and grooming of children, taking the effect of nature, not, environment, situation, observation, education, and learning. Anyway, carry on. So, possessing marijuana for personal use. should not be criminal. Many British Muslims need to become more aware of the Islamic position on marijuana because of its popularity. Does Islam condemn the use of marijuana? Does Islam forbid it? If Islam forbids it, what about the case of medical necessity? It is imperative that young Muslims know the answers. One should refer to the religious authorities in order to ascertain the Islamic position on this drug. These authorities review various verses in the text, the traditions of al-Bayt, and the Islamic principles and other derived religious opinions. Sid al something unpronounceable, a religious authority and the current head of the Islamic Republic of Iran, was asked about the use of drugs, including marijuana. The following quote, blah, blah, blah. Question 2. What was the ruling in the matter with the use of narcotics such as hashish, opium, blah, 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 blah? By the way of selling, eating, drinking, injecting, and what was it? The answer, it is haram, religiously forbidden to use narcotics in any way because it is result in comparable and adverse effects in the term of personal health, social cost, but by some token it is harm to deal in narcotics in any way, carrying, transporting, snorting. So that'll be a no. Strongly disagree. The prime function of school should be to equip young people for the future. Slightly disagree. It should also be indoctrinating them into the Quran. In fact, I strongly disagree. And then not only indoctrinating them into the Quran, and then also debating widely held scientific points. People with serious inheritable disabilities should be allowed to reproduce. Islam and culture conception of disability. Alright. Here we go. Islam and cultural conceptualization of disability. The paper aims to provide an analytical perspective of Islamic philosophy and on disability by examining some of the texts from the Quran and the Sunnah, as well as differentiating between cultural practice and real Islamic perspective, despite the fact that Islam shares the same beliefs and principles. People's attitudes and understandings regarding these concepts and their reactions to the individuals with the disability Many vary depending on the intensity of the person's faith as well as their socio-economic status and their influence on Muslims' understanding. Introduction. Dissatisfaction with the medical model led to swift and considerable disability as located mainly within the children who were inbreeding products to focus more on social factors and cultural um, reproduction of inequalities within the society. It is estimated that over 650 million individuals who suffer from disabilities as a result of mental, physical, and sensory impairments in the United Nations 2006, and approximately one third are children in developing countries like Islam because of first marriage, cousin marriage. An Islamic country are considered to be developing, and most people are religious in these countries. So people should be allowed to reproduce. Not that's answering it. Fully enabling our community. Disability and there are facts about Muslims and religions. Islam and disability. Islam and law and marriage and disabled people the case. Being disabled is primarily a medical problem, which may come a societal problem, especially when the handicap is noticeable. In Islamic law, in addition to the medical and the social aspect, it is apparent that being handicapped raises legal issues as well, since Islamic law encompasses all fields of life, private and public and spiritual and material, and since the handicapped pair natural involvement in all these fields, some mentions of disabled people is likely to appear in various legal texts. Obviously, not every handicapped person recognised by a medical by medicine is also mentioned in Islamic legal literature. The handicaps where are specific are those who are not relevant to a particular field of law which the jurors have taken some stand. For example, although the literature makes there no section on dumbness, the status of dumb should be included in the section.
Before you get started, Himmat, can you somebody tap him and just tell him come here real quick? don't think he heard me. Not you, don't worry. You're good. Can you just tell the brother that just took shahad? No, I don't think he's. All right. Alhamdulillah, we're on hadith. Just while we're waiting, we're on hadith number 35 now or 36. Does anyone know? I'm testing you guys, obviously. 35? Maybe? 36?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الواحد المنعم والصلاة والسلام على محمد سيد الأنام وعلى آله الكرام وصحبه العظام وسلم تسليما كثيرا ما دام يجري هذا النظام. وبعد، قال تبارك وتعالى: إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لجليبيب رضي الله عنه: إنك لست عند الله بكاسدا، أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. Respected brothers, elders, mothers, sisters, and youngsters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send the choicest blessings upon the final messenger, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, peace and blessings upon him. Some time ago, I was invited to deliver a seminar on the Islamic perspective of health, medicine, and death. And one of the questions that were asked to me by a surgeon or a doctor was that in Islam, if a child is born with a disability, is this considered bad luck? Is this considered something that is negative? So I responded by saying that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates, then He creates according to His will and His choice. And we cannot oppose or look down upon a choice or a command of God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In essence, there is no looking down upon a disability that a human being is created with, because at some point in our lives, we all will have some sort of disability. So in these few moments that I have before me, I am speaking about the Islamic perspective, or a few pointers, a few thoughts about disability in Islam. And the reason being is that the first week of December is usually the time when international Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. No soul will be given a burden it can't handle. Yes? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not unjust that He puts on a soul a burden that it can't handle. But you find in the Muslim countries there is no care. When it comes to the disabled, there's no care. Even sometimes in the Muslim countries, we have a very jahili concept. If we have someone in our family who's autistic, for example, we don't want to show them to the community. Yes, we want to hide them. Sometimes you meet a family, you say, how many kids do you have? You say, 5. You say, well, I've only met 4. Say, yes, we have 1 more, but we leave them at home. Why do you leave them at home? Because they're disabled. You say, but what's wrong if they're disabled? They should come to our mosque. Their heart is probably more pure than most of the heart of the people of the mosque. So why not let them come to the mosque? Let them come. They don't have envy. They're not hypocrites, smile in your face, stab you when they leave the mosque. Yes? They're people who are pure, they're lovers, they're innocent. You find that this culture is a jahili culture, and that's why hardly ever do you see Muslims give lectures on disability. Never. And so I ask you, go and look around the Muslim world. Years of majalis on Imam al-Hussein, not one person has ever said Imam al-Hussein stood for the disabled. Never. Normally you'll find our lectures are aimed at what? Theological debates. Yes. Our lectures, historical debates. No problem. Theology and history is important. But Imam al-Hussein stood for much more than theology and history. Yes? If you limit Imam al-Hussein to a Sunni-Shia type war, then neither the Sunni or the Shia have understood Imam al-Hussein. Imam al-Hussein is a reflection of his grandfather. If there's anyone disabled in this world, anyone sexually abused in this world, anyone on the streets in this world with no mother or father.
So the next, I'll keep listening to that. The most important thing for a child to learn is to accept discipline. Strongly agree.
That's what Hussein stands for. So when you therefore come to this topic, you find, as I said, in the world over 1 billion.
There is no savage, uncivilized people. There are only different cultures. I think they strongly disagree with that. I think the what do you call them? The people, the adulterers, and they see other individuals as not being as quite civilized as the Arabs. This is actually quite tricky doing this. Those who are able to work and refuse to work should not expect society support. What if those able to...
My name is Abu Bakr Falon. My question relates to worshiping Allah. As you have said, we have been caught middle of the whole process compared to living here, for example, in Norway.
How do you reconcile that? I'm in one of those places all the time. They're called airports nowadays. You see, this is a problem with our understanding of rububiyyah, of understanding that Allah is Rabb. This is a problem for us. Because if you go to work to pay your bills, guess what your reward for that work is? Paying those bills. That's your reward. In the hereafter, there might not be nothing for you because you did it for the wrong reasons. Anything we do in this life is supposed to be only to worship Allah. No matter what it is. Even if my job is to clean the sewers of Oslo, I should do it knowing that I'm doing it to please Allah. Work is worship according to the Prophet, peace be upon him. Therefore, if I'm doing a work that interferes with that worship, then that work is no longer viable for a Muslim. That's the reality of the matter. That when it's time to pray, you pray. You pray. Allah has created this earth as a masjid according to Ar-Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And there are only a few places you can't pray. And let me tell you, you don't work in any of them. You don't work in any of them. You pray when it's time to pray. There's no one that can stop you from that. Because you have to understand that Allah is Rabb. That money that comes to you is not from your boss. It is not from your job. It is not from anything other than Allah Azza wa Jal has legislated that money to be placed in your hands. And if you are getting that money by disobeying Him, I am afraid of what is waiting for you in the next life. I really am afraid. That if you place something before Allah, that thing has become your Rabb. That has become your Lord, and Tawheed is thrown out the window. We need to understand that. That look, I don't care what you have going on right now. I need 5 minutes to pray. This so-and-so fulan and this jack-off can go outside and smoke for 20 minutes, and you're telling me I can't pray for 5? We need...
Our civil rights are being exclusively curbed in the name of counter-terrorism. Strongly agree. Significant advantage of one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments, and yep, strongly agree because it's totalitarian in the system of governance. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need worry. Strongly disagree, because may cut wrongdoers, but I strongly agree with that. The death penalty should not be for the most serious. Strongly disagree. I want to go to a martyr's death. In civil society, you must always have people able to prove. Oh, sorry. If in a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. Yes, well, I strongly agree. That's the hierarchical nature of Islam. Abstracted art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Strongly disagree, or strongly agree. The criminal injustice punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Strongly agree. And get the Sharia law in. It's a waste of time trying to rehabilitate certain current criminals. Strongly agree. Then you're going to punish them with cutting off their hand or their head. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Not sure what Muhammad said about that in the Quran.
If you give me 45.
The business person and manufacturer. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Get the jihad out. National companies are unethical, exploiting the plants and economic resources of the countries. I'm going to say I don't know if it says it in the Bible. Or the Quran, should I say. I think they do it as well. So I think we'll disagree. What does it say in the Quran though? Multinationals. See, this is the difficulty where you didn't have the time of the multinational exploiting. I'm going to disagree. Mother's make here in the first duty is homemaker. That's obviously I strongly agree there. And business persons, manufacturers are important, more important than a writer. I'm not sure on this one what the Arabic sort of definition would be from the Quran. That's quite tough. I'm going to say disagree, but I don't know the answer to that one. Some scholar should check that. I think I'm nearly on the money with the rest of them, mind you. Astrology explaining many things. I'm not sure. I'm sure they did do a bit of sky looking. Oh. Astrology refers to the study and movements and positions of cellular bodies interpreted as having an influence in human. But Islamic jurisprudence, the Quran, the Hadith, the Juma, scholars' census, and lay out the guidelines for the stance that Islam takes on the concept of astrology. The determination of the concept is further subdivided into that which is either halal, permissible, and haram, forbidden. Astrology has been a very present force in Islam for history. So we're going to strongly agree. You can't be moral without being religious. From an Islamic point of view, I'm going to say I strongly agree. You can't be moral without being religious. Well, haram, obviously strongly agree. Charity is better than social security. Well, they do charity work. It's called something I can't remember just now. Some people are naturally lucky. I'll agree.